All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. I have a huge, colossal, gargantuan show for you today, some might say. So, in just a second, major breaking news. Trump was caught red-handed with Jeffrey Epstein. We have some new emails that are coming out. I honestly think it's fair to call this a smoking gun. I think it's time to pound the gavel. Not only was Trump besties with Epstein, which we already knew, but there is undoubtedly literal video of Trump and the dirty, disgusting things he did with women that are out there somewhere. They're out there somewhere. So we'll get into that in just a second. Then we'll get to Chuck Schumer, y'all, is just absolutely getting roasted to the high heavens. It is unbelievable just how much people are coming after him. And he's getting it from everybody within the Democratic tent, to the right of him, to the left of him. Like, it's all over the place. It's widespread. Nobody has been hammered more than Chuck Schumer over these past couple of days. So we'll talk about that as well. Then we have, this is just a total disgrace. It's a pathetic, disgusting disgrace. But Trump welcomed Al-Qaeda to the White House. I'm not kidding. I wish I was. I'm not. Imagine if I told you in 2002, after 9/11, that number one, we'd have a President Donald Trump, and number two, he'd be snuggling with an Al-Qaeda member in the White House and treating him like royalty. Well, that actually happened. So we'll get to that. And everybody's talking about this one, man. Trump's 50-year mortgage plan to basically make you a debt slave. That's what it is. It was universal condemnation. MAGA hates this idea, and everybody hates this idea. So we'll get to that too. The United Kingdom is also accusing the U.S. of war crimes. This is totally unprecedented. They're now stopping their program to share intelligence with us. They're like, we're not doing that anymore. And it's understandable. They don't want to be dragged in front of the Hague at some point in the future. So really big deal there. And then we also have an update on the raging right-wing civil war. Mark Levin is trying to go for Tucker Carlson's jugular. So I'll have a lot to say about that. So you guys know the drill. All the shameless plugs in the world here. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel. That helps out massively and costs you nothing. You could also support the show on Patreon. Remember, this is real independent media. Even if you could just give $2 a month, it helps out a lot. Or if you tip with that thanks button on YouTube, that helps a lot. I've never talked to a billionaire, never done an ad read, never talked to an advertiser, all that good stuff. And you guys made it possible to be independent. I'm deeply thankful because of that. So thank you guys very much. You could also support Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. You could sign up below for that. And go sub to the Corn's World YouTube channel, where we do live Kyle and Corn episodes every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Come hang out with us there, guys. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You won't regret it. It's much more relaxed and laid back than me talking about the downfall of society here. All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So right before I came on air, holy bejesus, this is just wow. The New York Times reports, breaking news, House Democrats released emails in which Jeffrey Epstein alleged that Donald Trump knew of the convicted sex offender's conduct and, quote, spent hours at my house with a victim. Let me repeat that. Spent hours at my house with a victim. Guys, remember, we've talked about this. Guess whose house was bugged to the high heavens? Guess who had audio and video in every fucking room? It was Jeffrey Epstein. So if Trump spent hours with a victim at his house, that means there are pictures, there are videos, and there is audio of the disgusting, depraved things that he did. This is, ladies and gentlemen, beyond a smoking gun. This is a 5-alarm fire. Our president is compromised. Our president is compromised. And by the way, who was Epstein working for that he wanted dirt on these powerful people? He was working for Mossad. More on that in a little bit, because we have new evidence on that front that came out. Shout out to Drop Site News. This is also a bombshell, but the mainstream media is not touching this part of it. But you have foreign intelligence, so Israeli intelligence, with literal sex tapes of Trump, potentially even with underage women. And gee, you wonder, hey, why is it that he's giving Israel literally everything they've ever wanted ever? That's kind of weird. Why'd he let them steal the Golan Heights in the first term? Why'd he move the embassy to Jerusalem? Why is he saying, go ahead, finish the genocide in Gaza? Why'd he do a fake peace deal to give them cover? Why is he letting them, rampage through the West Bank and take that too? Well, now you know. So here are some of the emails. Let's start with this one. So Michael Wolff is involved in a lot of these. Michael Wolff is the reporter who embedded himself with Epstein and got Epstein to trust him so that Epstein would basically give up all the dirt in the world on, what he's done and what Trump has done. And so a lot of people are saying that this is like damning of Michael Wolff. I don't think it is. I mean, obviously, he's basically like, a double agent or something. Like, he has to make Epstein trust him, so he became like buddy-buddy with Epstein. And that's how we know all the shit that we know about Trump and Epstein. So, take a look at this one. This is from Michael Wolff to Epstein. I think you should let him hang himself, talking about Trump. And I believe this was 2015 when he was running for president. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say, Jeffrey's a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. So in other words, what's happening here is Jeffrey Epstein knows how much dirt he has on Trump. And this is Michael Wolff saying, look, give him a little bit of space and let's see how he plays it. But, he owes you because you got all this dirt for you to not release it. He's got to do favors for you, which, by the way, now it all makes sense as to why Jeffrey Epstein was allegedly offered a spot in Trump's first term in the White House. People don't remember that. That was reporting that not many people talked about. Well, we talked about it here. And thank God we did talk about it. And now you know why. Because Trump was thinking, how can I make it so that this guy doesn't tell all my dark secrets? Hey, Jeff, I got a great spot for you. You want a position in my White House? I'm more than happy to give it to you. Incredible, incredible, incredible stuff. So this one is from Epstein to Michael Wolff. The victim at Mar-a-Lago, Trump said he asked me to resign. I was never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. Trump had said publicly, I know nothing about that. I know nothing about what he's done. Well, this is Jeffrey Epstein saying internally at the time, fucking of course you do. You absolutely do. And saying you asked Ghislaine to stop. Now, later on, Trump updated a story where he also said that, but this is the big one. This is the big kahuna. You guys ready for this? So this is from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein, it looks like. I'm sorry, this is from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So here he's saying Trump spent hours with one of the Epstein victims at Epstein's house. Gee, I wonder what goes down there. Now, you ready for what makes this particularly damning? Take a look at the year that this was sent. This was sent Saturday, April 2nd, 2011. This is before Trump ran for president. And this is Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein saying, Trump was just at my house with a victim for hours. There are definitely tapes of Trump. And this wasn't, we're trying to take him down or whatever, because he wasn't even running for president yet. That's it, man. It's over. Smoking gun. There's pictures, there's videos, there's audio out there of Trump, potentially even with underage girls, but certainly with girls. Everybody should be talking about this. You know what the crazy thing is, too? There's been all these other Epstein bombshells, and the media hasn't really touched them. They haven't really touched them, and it really makes no sense to me. But then you get this one, perhaps because it was subpoenaed by the Democrats. I believe, shout out to Ro Khanna, I believe he was involved in this. They subpoenaed the Jeffrey Epstein estate, and that's how they got this information. And that was like an end run around all the Republicans trying to hide the information, and it fucking worked. And it worked. But this is a huge deal, man, and the media should not shut the fuck up about this. It's literally a smoking gun that Trump was messing around with the Epstein girls, and he did it at Epstein's house, which means there's immense dirt on him. But the plot thickens even more because a day or two before this story came out, we got a bunch of other stories from Ryan Grimm and Drop Site News. And this one, the media is not touching this one. Ask yourself why that is as we go through it here. So, Jeffrey Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to, that's the Ivory Coast. Leaked emails show the details behind talks between the Ivory Coast and Israel, shepherded by Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein. So, how is it Jeffrey Epstein is helping to sell a surveillance state to a country, to the Ivory Coast, if he's not directly affiliated with and working with the Israeli government? Well, perhaps he just is. So, involved in, the authoritarian business of selling spy equipment, right? And again, this one, the mainstream media didn't touch. Shout out to Murtaza Hussein and Ryan Grimm. But ask yourself why. It's because this is looking like a smoking gun that Epstein was Mossad. More. Israeli spy stayed for weeks at a time with Jeffrey Epstein in Manhattan. Leaked email show Epstein working on a wire transfer to Ehud Barak's top aide, Yoni Koren, who regularly stayed at his apartment. So, like, within the same week, we learn, hey, that's irrefutable evidence that Epstein was Mossad. He's Israeli intelligence. Then we learn there's strong evidence, every reason to believe Trump is on video doing all sorts of horrific things. Trump needs to be impeached. Trump needs to resign. Trump needs to be arrested because he cannot represent the United States of America. He cannot be the leader of the so-called free world if foreign intelligence agencies have so much fucking dirt on him that he will always do their bidding. He can't represent the American people. He can't do what's best by us. He can't do what's best for the world. When Netanyahu has pictures and videos and audio of him with women that he doesn't want fucking coming out, potentially even underage women, there's a reason why Israel has continued to get literally every single thing that they want. And you learned exactly why that is today. To this point, we knew that Epstein was Trump's best friend for a while, and there was a lot of dirt there. This dirt is far above and beyond what people realized. Like, even before this, we knew maybe were some pictures that existed, but now it's like videos too. You spent hours at Epstein's house, which was bugged to the high heavens, with a victim. Oh my goodness. My guess is they weren't sitting around and talking sports. My guess is they weren't, discussing what their fucking education history was like. They weren't having coffee. They weren't singing show tunes together, right? Something else went down. So guys, just add it to the list now. Add it to the list. And shame on the media for not talking about all the other big stories leading up to this. But let's remember, Jeffrey Epstein is on literal audio tape saying that Trump was his best friend for a decade. We know that Trump was on Epstein's plane 7 times. And it's probably way more than that because Epstein was also on Trump's plane, I'm sure, right? And I bet there's not even a record of every single time they were together. Allegedly, the first time Trump and Melania had sex was on the Lolita Express. That's Jeffrey Epstein's Fredophile plane. Epstein knew the inner workings of the Trump White House his first term. Again, we know that because of the Michael Wolff tapes, and now we know Michael Wolff has been telling the truth all along, that he really did embed himself with Epstein, and they were close, and Epstein was really spilling all the tea on Trump to Michael Wolff. We know that Trump and Epstein shared a girlfriend. We know that Trump wrote that creepy love letter to Epstein on his birthday. We know that Epstein learned human trafficking from Trump's modeling agency. And again, these are the reports that mainstream media hasn't touched, but there's plenty of articles out there written about it. That's how I learned about it. Trump had a teenage modeling agency, and that's allegedly where Jeffrey Epstein learned a lot of his tricks from. Trump also hosted a private event at Mar-a-Lago with teen models. It was Trump and one other person there. Only one other person, Jeffrey Epstein. Never mind the fact that we know that Michael Wolff has said that he personally saw a picture that Epstein showed him of Trump with 2 girls of an uncertain age bending over, pointing at Trump and laughing, and Trump had a stain on his pants. Gee, I wonder what that stain was. And then also, can't forget, the picture of Trump buying a girl from Epstein with that massive check. I believe that was at Mar-a-Lago, too. So this guy, I mean, shit. It's crazy to me that the right would always talk about, how close Epstein and Clinton were, which, by the way, fair game. I think that's fair to talk about. I've talked about it myself. But now when you have more evidence that proves that Trump was even closer with Epstein than Clinton was with Epstein, now they got nothing. Now they're quiet. So he honestly needs to resign. He needs to step aside. And I need Democrats not only to talk about this bombshell, but also to connect the dots and make the point. There's almost certainly video of Trump with women. There is video that he does not want coming out. And you mix that with the other stories, and we know Epstein is very likely Mossad. Almost certainly Mossad. Definitely tied in with foreign intelligence. So Trump has been corrupted. Trump is tainted. Trump is incapable of making the correct decisions for the country because he's going to be a little bitch. He's going to be a little cuck. to the people who have blackmail on him and can coerce him and can extort him. So everybody needs to wake up, because what we're witnessing here is this is not normal. This is not normal. This is beyond absurd, and we got to put an end to it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.